listen-only mode.
Hi everyone, welcome to our webinar today on our live landing page clinic. I'm glad you could all be here with us on Halloween. Hopefully some of you guys are as festively dressed as we are here in the office. I'm currently wearing my cowboy hat and cowboy badge, so hopefully you'll be able to enjoy that image as you watch our PowerPoint go along today. So first I'm just going to introduce myself and my co-presenter here. So I am Sam Owen. I lead CRO efforts here at Hannapin. I am a PPC Hero blogger, if any of you guys out there are familiar with our blog, and I have spoken recently at SMX East and at HeroCom. If any of you guys want to reach out to me about CRO, you can reach me at SamOwenPPC. With me we have Rupa Carpenter. Rupa, do you want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Sure. As Sam just said, my name is Rupa Carpenter. I am an account manager here at Hannapin, and prior to working at Hannapin, I practiced as an attorney at a law firm in Washington, D.C.
Cool. And Rupa works with our CRO clients to help build landing pages and run some of our tests too. So hopefully she'll have some good insight for you guys on your live landing page feedback. So just a quick introduction about what we're going to do today. We're going to try and get right to the landing pages. We're going to talk a little bit about what we like on the pages you guys have submitted, what we don't like, and then things you can test. So it's really just going to be a quick eyeball, the top 2 or 3 things we think might be good or bad about your site and what you can test. And just a quick clarification on terminology as I interchangeably switch between all of these. Conversion rate optimization, landing page optimization, CRO, LPO, all kind of means the same thing in my book. So just to avoid that being confusing if we're switching between them at all.
And if you'd like to join the conversation during our webinar, you can just include the hashtag ThinkPPC in your Twitter tweets, or you can use the webinar question box to send us questions.
And we're going to start with a quick live poll question, get some interactivity going here. We're just interested in what your guys' primary job role is. So if we can start that poll. Cool. So Rupa, why don't you say a little bit about what you do here at Hannapin?
Sure. Well, primarily I'm an account manager on PPC accounts, but as you mentioned earlier, I also work with our CRO clients and have worked in Optimizely and done some initial reviews for landing pages for our clients.
Very cool. Do we want to finish that poll? It looks like most of you guys are in online marketing, so pretty much the same boat as us here, PPC, SEO, etc. So that's pretty cool. And our second live poll question, just to get a feel for the specifics of CRO, is how you guys manage your conversion rate optimization. So if you want to go ahead and answer that question, if you either don't do any CRO, if you manage it yourself, if you have a CRO team that works at your company, if you outsource your CRO work to an agency, or if you're currently rethinking how you manage your CRO. So I'll go ahead and answer this one for Hannapin. So we are essentially an agency that runs CRO as part of our PPC services, and if you do want to outsource PPC or CRO to us, that's something we do, and typically we do initial assessments, we analyze things like your Google Analytics, we come up with a list of hypotheses, and then we get to work testing them in tools like Optimizely or Visual Website Optimizer. And what are the results there? So this one's a little more varied. It looks like 34% of you manage it yourself or are part of a team, so 68% total. And then we have a couple of others who either outsource or don't do any CRO. So it looks like we've got a good mix listening in on the webinar today, which is cool. And then finally, this is kind of our get out of jail slide. So we just wanted to tell you guys that even our recommendations or the things we notice when we look through your live landing pages is not always going to be what's best. We really recommend testing. So my personal CRO philosophy is that you've got to test everything. Now you can have hypotheses built upon data. So do your analysis, look at Google Analytics, know what's worked with clients in the past, but every site is different. So if you test some more, and then find out what worked from those tests, and then keep testing that. So hopefully you guys are, able to take away a couple of things, but really the key is to learn how to test things. And now we're going to move on to our live landing page review. So enough of me just babbling on here. We're going to get down to the actual landing pages you guys have submitted. And thanks to everyone out there who did submit landing pages. We'll try and get to most of them. There are a lot sent to us, but it won't necessarily be everyone that we can get to. So let's go ahead and get started, shall we? So this is the first one. I'm just going to give you a little overview of these sites as we go through them and kind of what they do, and then Rupert and I will say what we think is good and bad about them. So this is for luxury gift experiences, and it's a landing page for a menu tasting session. So Rupert, was there anything particular about this site as I kind of scroll down to show everyone that you thought in particular stood out to you for potential CRO optimizations?
Well, first, I just wanted to say that I really like the pictures here. I think they're enticing and will draw the customer's eye. I would say if I was going to test something, I noticed the price that's up at the top, the 210 pounds. I kind of expected to see a call to action button there, but if you just scroll down a little bit further here, you have the add to cart button right there as well. And my eyes kind of read left to right. So after I go to add to cart, I then see the email this product, and my eyes end up there. So I would maybe try testing switching those and having the add to cart to be the one on the right side.
And I kind of like this site too. It was pretty clean. The images, like you said, were really good. One thing I might change is you have your headlines pretty much doubled up. So you could probably get extra value by having something different mentioned in each one. So it says almost the same thing here as it does down here. And then the second thing I noticed that maybe to test is you have this list of categories, and it looks a little bit spammy for my liking, so it could be something you would want to remove. I'm guessing it's maybe an SEO thing you've got it in there for. But that's something that kind of caught my eye as a potential improvement on the page. And then this Ask the Concierge button can kind of, I'm guessing that's why the add to cart has been moved over, because it's potentially in the way a little bit. That might be something you want to test as well. The second page we had submitted was for a company called Phone Renew, and this is somewhere where you can sell your old iPhones, cell phones, iPads. Rupert, did you have any thoughts on the layout of this site?
Well, sure. I like the headline at the top. It was obvious right from the beginning what this company is about selling your phones or iPad for money. However, if you scroll down there, you'll see scrolling images of phones on the side. And what I found a little bit confusing was the wording on the button, accept. I wasn't sure if this is, oh, you want to accept to buy the phone at that price, or you want to accept to sell the phone at that price. So maybe just changing the call to action on that button would be worth it.
Cool. And one thing I noticed just looking through was that the customer reviews were a little bit weak. So I love Phone Renew. Maybe you could put something a little more detailed in there. I don't know whether I trust that they're real reviews, so that's just something to potentially look into just to build some trust, because I think the functionality of the page is really good, and it's really good at explaining exactly how it works. So some kind of trust things in there, because I know with sites like this, especially where you might sell a used phone, things that I'm asking myself are, how do I know that they're going to give me the price they claim they are? And what if I claim it's in like mint condition and you guys think it's in good condition? How am I going to know that you're not going to try and kind of, lower the price on me a little bit? So I think that's probably a key area to focus on for this. But overall, I was pretty impressed with the functionality. I tried it out and liked using it. It was kind of intuitive, I thought. So that was cool. This next one we're going to look at is a Go Ahead Tours landing page for a catalog for discovering Italy. So I'm just going to scroll down again and take a quick look. And the most obvious thing you noticed here is this huge white form in the middle of the page in the round bubble. So I'm not convinced by this. I think it's a great background image, and it really makes me want to go to Italy, and it looks amazing. It looks like a great vacation. But there's so much of it taken up by white space with this huge form. And then also, it's just a little weak in terms of kind of the value I'm getting here. So I don't really know, from the form at least, if you'll see that they're asking for address and email. I don't really know if I'm getting an emailed catalog. I don't know if I'm getting a delivered catalog. I don't really have the option to tell you which one I want. So that was kind of my main takeaway here. It's probably just a little vague, and then also this maybe takes up a little too much space. You could maybe cut it down and look rectangular. I think that would look pretty good with the architecture of Italy in the background. I think it is kind of rectangular if you look at the image there, so that might be something you could work on. And then your kind of call to action for your catalog down here as well with your button, potentially something to test as well. Rupert, what did you think of this page?
Well, I agree with the form. I think if this was going to be a brochure that's emailed, I might be a bit more hesitant to give my mailing address. And so maybe to just test around with that, how many fields you have there. But also, I would reconsider making the company logo a little bit bigger and a little bit more to the left, just so you know who you're dealing with and what's this brand about.
Cool, and then scrolling down there are just a couple of things. So if you see this included on every tour set of icons, I really thought these were going to be buttons that maybe expanded or told me about some of the specifics here, so it just felt a little empty. I did really like the little testimonials down here, so that was good, but definitely a lot of things you could test with this page for sure. Our next landing page comes from UK Oak Doors, which, just as it kind of says on the logo, they sell oak doors in the UK. So did you have any immediate things that jumped to mind to you about this page, Rupa?
I really like this page. The one thing that my eyes keep getting drawn to are actually the seconds ticking down there on the sales. But what I also would like to test here is maybe giving the users an option to look at the products horizontally as they are listed right now, or to do it vertically and to see maybe if there's a difference in conversion rate there. And also on the side, the categories, I wonder if there's a way to kind of condense those down a little bit and just to make it look slightly cleaner.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. The seconds ticking definitely kind of catches your eye, and I'm not sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but I would probably test it just with the minutes, so there's not something kind of flashing that's drawing you away from the doors, which is where you actually want to look. And then perhaps test the combination of colors. There's a few that kind of are contrasting here, and maybe the more info button, there's probably something you could do with that as well, testing that as a call to action, or the size of that call to action too. But in general, we were really impressed with this page. It looks very clean and easy to use. Our next one comes from Bathmaster. So this is a company that sells and puts in place bath surrounds for your bathroom or shower or whatever it is. And it's a slightly older looking landing page, I think. So one of the things possibly to suggest is even a complete landing page redesign in this case. It looks a little dated by now. So there's definitely maybe some things that a design overhaul would help with, and perhaps you could use a tool like Unbounce to test building a new page. And I'm sure you could keep most of the features that are in here already. In terms of other things that kind of jumped out at me, so there were some unexplained asterisks as I scroll down. So like double asterisk, guaranteed to last, but there's no where I can look to see if that's actually because there's some kind of other statement there that's telling me why there's an asterisk, or if that's just to try and grab my attention. So I'm already thinking like, okay, well, is it not guaranteed to last? So that's kind of something I focused on as well. And then apart from that, I think really the kind of the call to action side of things as well could be improved upon. So Rupert, did you have some thoughts here?
Yeah, actually, I was focused on the button itself, where if you read call today, you think that the only way you can contact the company is to call, but when you actually click on the button, it can take you to a form as well. So I think maybe just clearing up your call to action there. Also, maybe even try centering the button and also trying a different color that sticks out, because right now the blue just blends in with the blue of the background as well. So.
And it's kind of competing with your eyes horizontally against the seeing photos of other wall surrounds. So I definitely think probably one of the strongest things you'll have is the images for different wall surrounds, because I know if I'm shopping, that's probably what I'm going to care about most. Like, does it look good? And if it does, then I'll think like, okay, you're the right person to hire to do this. So maybe making more of your images and kind of updating them to be a little bigger and to kind of go through a little easier on the landing page. The next site is SpareFoot Storage Finder. So this is a company that will find you storage locations close to where you are and kind of compare prices for you. So Rupa, just looking at this landing page, is there anything you think can be improved on it? What do you think of it?
Well, first I'll say that I do like this landing page here. I like the as seen on. I like that you can see who are the followers. I like the logo on the left side. You could try maybe just moving the form around, maybe from the left side to the right side. You can, I know with the person staring at you, that's a little disconcerting at times. So I think that's kind of something that drew my attention.
Yeah, I think that, I mean, this is a pretty clean, easy to use landing page, and it kind of tells you exactly what it's going to do, and I think it's pretty effective in general. There are just some things I would test because you could probably eke out some improvements. So maybe test the view prices, call to action. Maybe test, like Rupa said, the image. You could try something more, almost, I hate to say it with CRO, but almost something more bland that just conveys storage facilities. And then other than that, it's pretty good. I mean, I like the trust on the page. The featured cities down here, this might be a really minor thing I noticed, but they're not listed alphabetically. And I was trying to look for Indianapolis, and I kind of found it eventually, which is where I live. But I'd kind of naturally try and follow it in alphabetical order. So I'm guessing it's probably sorted by, you know, how many customers you have, but that could be something to look at too. And if we jump forward, so this next site is from eSkill, and it's a company that provides pre-employment assessments. So if you're looking for some kind of way to work out whether the person you're about to hire is really clever or not, these are the guys to go to. So Rupa, did you have any thoughts on, just 5-second glance, anything that kind of stood out to you or didn't on this page?
Well, to me, I kind of felt there was a lot going on here, but the form also just seemed very long. And it says take a sample test, and it seems like this is quite a bit of information that you would have to enter to take a sample test. So if it's possible, if there's some fields that are not mandatory, to consider removing that and trying that as a test.
Yeah, I think that makes a good point. So if we just scroll down to let everyone see here what the page looks like as we go down. So I think you're right about the form being pretty long here, just to get a sample test. One thing I noticed was the headline. I landed on this page and my instant reaction was that this was either like a talent agency or a recruitment agency, so looking for new talent. And then I had to kind of read on and try our pre-employment assessments. So I might even just do a simple test of that headline and maybe just cut the first part out and just go from pre-employment assessments to sort your applicants. I mean, I think that's kind of snappier and says exactly what you do, and you could maybe add like a, you know, another qualifier that says why they're good assessments. So it could be, you know, industry-specific assessments to sort your applicants or something along those lines. And apart from that, I had maybe the text was, or the page was just a little text heavy. There's nothing that really jumps out at me from the text that I read. And then in terms of the offer, maybe just having some of your kind of trust markers a little higher up the page that make me know that it's you know, you've worked with some bigger companies, or that I can trust that I'm going to get a good test. In terms of the offer, you know, you have take a sample test. I think for something like that, you like Rupa said, you can maybe simplify the form here a little bit too. And we'll move on to our next page, which is Play Sports TV. So Rupa, do you want to maybe introduce this site and kind of go over your thoughts on it?
So Play Sports TV, they're focused on providing videos, training videos for people who would like to get into coaching with the youth here. And I think this page specifically was focused on basketball. So Sam, was there anything initially that caught your eye?
This page is not too bad, honestly. I think it's kind of got the right ingredients there. It's got images that convey what they do. I think one thing that we kind of thought was that I actually preferred the headline that's kind of their company tagline, the best in youth sports training videos, to the secondary one that's kind of the main headline on the page. So it could be tweaked a little, the best in youth basketball training videos. just to kind of convey exactly what it is really quick. And then we talked a little bit about the call to action here. So there's a little confusion about whether it's, get started and pay today or take the 3-day trial. I don't know if I see both of those, I'm always going to take the trial. So maybe you want to just incorporate it in some way and just have your one call to action as, get started with a 3-day trial and have it where people have to put their credit card information and it renews on the 3rd day if they don't cancel. And actually talking of CRO, that's kind of the thing that Optimizely do, which is my preferred testing package for CRO. They'll give you the 30-day free trial, but it will auto renew once you want to start testing or once you get to your 30 days and you've put your credit card in. So that might be something to test. And other than that, it was pretty good. I'd also say maybe test the image up here. So this, maybe conveys like a father-son kind of relationship, whereas you might want to just have something that's more training focused. So like lots of kids playing basketball and someone on the sideline, or some kind of tactical sheet. Just something along those lines. It's not necessarily guaranteed to be better or worse, but I think you can probably just visually make it really obvious that these are training guides rather than something else. So that's that one. Our next page comes from My Perfect Pool, which is an Australian pool covering company, so that they sell pool covers, I should say. And there were a couple of things that really stood out to me about this page. So the first was that I actually didn't get that they were selling pool covers until I read through quite a lot. So I look at it instantly, the images of people swimming in the pool, and the headline reads, "New Australian technology with extended warranty included, warmer water so that you can swim in spring and autumn." So in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, is that warmer water because I'm buying a whole pool that has like a better heating system? Am I buying a heating system? Is this like a set of chemicals that make my pool warmer and cleaner? So I wasn't 100% sure, not being a swimming pool expert. And I just think something really simple you can do is just clarify that in that headline. So it might even be something like, our new technology pool covers keep your pool warmer and cleaner. Just something really obvious that says exactly what it does. And then another thing I liked on here, so down in the product description, I'll just scroll down so everyone here can see this page. Down in the product description, you actually have some pretty cool facts, like $269 per year off filter pump costs, cut $182 from heating pump costs. So those are probably two big selling points, given that when you add those numbers together, it's about the price of the product. So I would maybe put those at the top and test it. And other than that, Rupert, did you see anything in here that you really thought could be tested?
Yes, actually, for me, when I looked at the page, my eyes were drawn to the pictures, and then it went all the way to the right to the get shipping cost, where I kind of thought, okay, maybe that should have been the CTA button. So I think it might be worth moving that get shipping cost, moving it under where you can select the different size pool cover that you want, and so this way it'll just read properly, and it'll take you right after that to the add to the cart, so it won't really stand out as much. So it might be worth testing that.
Yeah, and what we're trying to establish is the kind of traditional triangle of looking at a website. So from the kind of headline down to the call to action in the bottom right, and then back up to the logo. So I think that's a little confused right now, just because the add to cart's down here in the middle, and it does stand out with the colors, so that's good. It's just this big shipping cost button and the other offer logos down in the bottom right. I think maybe trying some kind of rearranging of that setup could pay off too. So that would be what we would suggest. The next page we've got comes from webjet.com.au, so another Australian company. Hopefully you guys aren't staying up too late to listen to this webinar right now. And they're offering a Southeast Asia sale on flights. So Rupert, did you have any thoughts about this landing page and what could be tested or improved?
Well, I think it would be worthwhile to include some trust markers or have a customer testimonial on here. And also the cities on sale, with the tax and with there being so many, it's kind of really hard to tell which cities are on sale. So maybe doing a drop box where you can just scroll down and see which ones are on sale to make it a little bit cleaner.
Yeah, I think that's right. I mean, the text is very small, so it kind of puts me off reading it to start with. I kind of have to really commit to it, and I think it, like you said, it's not really clear what exactly, which cities exactly I can get this to, but like you said, potentially maybe even like a map or something in the top image here that shows all the locations you're going to. And one other thing I noticed, and I feel like I'm the headline guy today, maybe just change this to mention flights, because there's the image of the plane at the top here, but the main hero image and then the main headline don't really mention flights on sale, just as Southeast Asia. So I'm not 100% sure exactly, am I getting a vacation or flights, or is it all of them? So that would be something, I think, just to clarify, so people don't have to spend that extra second wondering what's going on. Rupa, do you want to introduce this landing page?
So this is Story Vision Videos. So they use, let's see, the video you'll see right here is what they actually do. And so I think this is the main draw of the whole landing page itself. And so I think that we produce creative, affordable, animated videos. I think that main headline should be going all the way across the site there, rather than just listed on the side. And I think right now, as it is formatted, it seems like the video is competing with the call to action button. So it might be worth, enlarging the video at the top and then putting the call to action button right below it.
Yeah, and I think this is an interesting kind of case study. I'd love to test this page, particularly with the video. So in most cases, I'm not normally a fan of making a video the main point of the page, but what they're actually selling here is video production. So they're going to do, creating videos that have images that are kind of hand-drawn. And really, I'm probably not going to purchase from these guys unless I see one of their videos. So getting someone to click on that video and watch it's probably the most important thing that's going to happen on this landing page. So I'd almost have the video as like a big, big part of the page that takes up most of the horizontal space. And then, like Rupa said, put that headline above it just to make it clear what it is. Then have a call to action that kind of reinforces watching the video just underneath it. So watch our video to see exactly what we could build for your company. And then in terms of the text, there's nothing really highlighted that my eyes can focus on easy that tells me like what the benefits of your services are against other video producers, and what are your top 3 or 4 best things about the videos you produce. Do they actually help people convert on sites? Are they really good at explaining things? So I think that's probably where you want to focus. And the get started today call to action, you could probably just have that right underneath the video, and that might be something definitely worth testing. So the next landing page, and we're trying to fly through these for you guys so we can get to them all today. The next one we're going to look at is Fortress Financial. So this is a tax debt relief firm. And Rupa, do you have any thoughts on the layout of this page?
Well, first I'd say that I think I would need a little bit more information here. I think tax debt is such a serious issue that I think you would need a little bit more information about the company, about what they do. I do like the testimonial that they have there under the call to action button. However, with the call to action there, with the phone number again being located right on the button, it makes me feel again that, okay, this is the only way to contact the company. But instead, if you were to actually click on the button, you can get to a form. So I would think about just testing out different call to actions right there with that.
Cool. And so this is one that I've had some experience working with, not this particular landing page, but with a tax debt relief company. And what we found is that a really short form landing page seemed to work well, which was a little counterintuitive because I was wanting to build something with like a lot of proof and trust, and actually having, in this case, having these like Better Business Bureau trust and the money back guarantee, these probably will do well enough on their own. I think the page is pretty clear. There's probably a couple of things you could add in terms of just proving that you're a good company. So maybe like the number of clients you've helped, how your process works, and that kind of thing. And then, like Rupa said, the call to action really stands out. So I didn't realize it was necessarily like a clickable button straight away. It looks like it's trying to get me to call them. So if calling the phone is the most important conversion for this landing page, then that's probably a good thing. But it might want to test out, and you could try having a form right here on the side and just seeing if that works better too. But other than that, I think it's a little counterintuitive, and there are a lot of things I might suggest. But just from my own testing with debt relief, it seems like keeping it simple, keeping it professional, and then really not pushing too hard also seemed to work pretty well. So just having something very factual like contact us or submit, although they don't normally work well, in this case seems to. So I would probably test those things, but that's kind of where we were. This next landing page I think is really great. So this is from Social Tables, and it's an event layout creating tool. And I don't know if you guys can see the kind of little demonstration video that's playing here, but I think it's pretty cool, and it conveys exactly what their software does in just a few seconds. So I really liked it in general. I think the page is clean. They have really good proof of companies they're working with. They show you what their product does. They have quotes from users. They have explanations of all the things you can do. So in general, I really liked it. There were a couple of small things that stood out that I think could be improved. So one is that actual try it now call to action. So it's up here in the top right, and it follows you down. So it's always there, which is good. I would probably have something right underneath this demonstration video. So if I like it, try it now. And then I would also probably add to that try it now. So get your free 7-day trial, which is what they offer if you go through to the sign up page. And then my final thing is, if you're going to have the sign up form on this landing page, it's kind of tucked away all the way down here in the bottom right. And I'm not really sure. I'm guessing probably less than 25% of people will scroll down here. So if having that form there is really important, I would have it up at the top of the page. If it's not, I would make a bigger deal of having some nice big call to action buttons that are, in place right where you would want them. Did you have any thoughts on this page, Rupa?
Yes, actually, if you could scroll down to the call to action button at the bottom. Well, two things really. You could try testing different call to action, just literally changing create your free account to create my free account. I've come across case studies where just changing the your to my gives the user some ownership over it, and the companies that have done it, they've seen increase in conversions there. So that's one thing you can try. And another thing is right below the button you have or try it now without creating an account. And I know for myself personally, I'm the one that will try it without creating an account. And so it might be worth testing just removing that option and just to see what the results would be there.
Yeah, I think that's interesting. So you probably want to test whether you actually want people to try it without creating an account, whether they should have no option or whether having both options works best. But that would be an interesting test for sure. Our next landing page comes from Cultural Care Au Pair. So this is for an au pair service, and it's a form that's trying to get you to, a page that's trying to get you to fill out the form to get a little more information about the benefits of having an au pair, and particularly through this company. So Rupa, I know you've been looking at childcare options recently. Do you have any thoughts on this page?
I am the mom, so I think just looking at the image itself, I like how the people are running towards the form because it brings your attention towards there. I like that you highlight the flexibility, affordability, reliability, but I think the most important thing for me when it comes to my kids is trust. I want to know what kind of screening you're doing for these au pairs, and so I think maybe just adding that type of information to the landing page would definitely go a long way.
And do you have any thoughts on the form? So some things that jumped out to me were just, I don't know if this may be a Chrome issue or not, but the learn more button here is actually kind of, and the whole form in general is overlapping at the bottom of the image. So I would try and line that up just to look a little cleaner. And also the headlines kind of merging into the image. So you could move this up a few pixels just to look cleaner as well too. And then finally, I would maybe test the learn more with anything specific you might be getting from these guys. So like find out about our au pair services, and then also I wasn't really too keen on this little bit of text up here, so just receive emails with special news and discounts. It doesn't give me an option to not get those. So you might be putting off people who are interested in the service, but don't really want to get your special news and discount regular emails. So that's something possibly to look at on this page. And one thing when I clicked on this page that I actually thought was funny was I went to the homepage for these guys. I actually thought this was probably a better landing page than the landing page we were on. So it's really clear what it has: flexible, affordable, quality, register for free. Then I have the option to find an au pair or to request info. And this actually seemed like a really good landing page. So one thing I might do is split test sending your traffic to the homepage versus that landing page. The next landing page, as we kind of move through these quickly, is compliancesweeps.com. So this is a company that helps you set up sweepstakes within your company or office or whatever in particular you're trying to set up. So there are a couple of things here. I'll scroll down to show you guys exactly what the page looks like. There are a couple of things in here that I noticed straight away. So one was, I honestly wasn't clear exactly what services were provided. If I kind of scroll down, I can see on the right-hand side here exactly what they offer. So sweepstake administration, contest, games, online promotions, etc. But really, you should have some kind of prompt at the start of your page to say exactly what it is you do. So I don't know how you're going to put that in there, but maybe just something along the lines of, you know, we organize sweepstakes for you, or something along those lines, or just a list of the different things that you do, just so I'm kind of clear when I start reading that I'm in the right place and don't back out too early. You have a really good list of partners here, this is probably the strongest part of this landing page. I mean, if you've worked with Pepsi, CBS, ESPN, DirecTV, Gold Jumpsuit, etc., that's like a really, really cool list of clients. So I think that's good that it's up there. And I think, like I said, if you add some kind of more visual proof, whether it's headlines, images, to the landing page, that's probably going to help and kind of break down this bulk of text that I don't particularly find my eyes wanting to read. Was there anything on here that you found, Rupa?
Yes, I actually initially had trouble finding out where the button was. If you scroll down right there, I just thought that was an image in the middle, and so maybe I would test trying to just remove that little image within the button and doing a shorter call to action, just making it pop out a bit more. I think that would.
Yeah, maybe just one big button that says download our sweepstake planning guide. Simple as that. It's really obvious what the call to action is, and then when you click it, you get the form, and the form can say, fill out this information to get our sweepstake planning guide. It's a really simple change. I think could be effective. Honestly, just adding a clear headline and changing this button and the stronger call to action between those, I think you can really improve your conversion rate on this page. Next page comes from suretybonds.com, which is nationwide bonds for all kinds of different services. The landing page we're looking at is for auto dealer bonds. And Rupa, if you just glance at this site, what do you think about it?
I feel my eyes are being drawn to the various buttons here. So if the form is your primary focus, then the get bonded buttons in the middle of the page are a little bit distracting from that. And also I noticed you have in the text somewhere that it's a free quote, no obligation. And I think you have it in small text under the next step button. And that's something I would highlight. Everyone loves free, and so that's something I would make it a little bit more bigger and more pronounced.
Yeah, and I think this page is not too bad in general, honestly. Like the form is good. There's some good trust markers, Better Business Bureau, USA Today, New York Times, and the information is all there. The one thing I would say is it's kind of cluttered. So there's a lot going on visually. There's a lot of blue and orange, and those are good complementary colors, but I would try and just have it focusing on like the one place you want people to focus. So whether it's this next step, or whether it's them to go through the get bonded options here, that's what I would do and see if that improved things. So definitely something you could look at. Just kind of a lot going on, I think, but other than that, it's not too bad, honestly. We'll move on to our next page. So this is an athenahealth landing page for a particular health product that they're offering for users to get a demo of. And one thing I'll say here is that it was a little hard for me to review this page just because my level of medical terminology expertise is very limited. So if I look at something like #1 best in class EHR, that means absolutely nothing to me. So there are some things on here that if they mean a lot to industry insiders, then that's probably absolutely fine. Looking at this page, it was quite nicely designed, I thought. So it was clean. There was images to show what's going on. It's some good trust with Forbes and MIT Technology Review. So there's a lot of things. Having the stats here was good. Probably a couple of things I would maybe look at. So one thing that struck me was kind of the value proposition here. So you're wanting people to demo your product, but to demo it, they have to give you the information. So that kind of just struck me a little bit as wanting too much from the user. So if I want to watch a demo of your product, the demo is your sales pitch. So do you actually want to limit people from seeing your sales pitch? Maybe you could test giving them the sales pitch and then signing up for more information or a callback about the product afterwards. It could be that works much worse for you in the long run. It could be that it works a lot better. So that's something I would want to test. And then also maybe just a couple of other things on this page just to explain the specifics. So I don't know if it's, like I said, because I don't know enough about medical technology, but just reading down, I couldn't figure out exactly what it did, exactly what benefits it had over, say, competitors. So maybe that's the kind of thing I would add in here, just a couple more sections that talk about that specifically. Rupert, did you have anything to add?
Well, the only other thing I would add is just the form itself. It's kind of in the middle of the page with the other images and whatnot. So just to make it stand out a bit more, I would maybe just move it over to the right a little bit.
Okay, yeah, I think that makes sense. It's kind of intruding on the main image section on the left there a little bit. Our next page is for linenservice.com. So this is a company that finds linen services for your restaurant, and you can kind of go through the form and select bar towels, kitchen towels, etc., all the products you want and get a quote. So was there anything on here, Rupa, that you thought was good or needed to be worked on?
Well, I liked it. It seemed pretty clean cut to me. I like the fact that they have a video at the top, but it's not playing automatically in the background. It's something you have a link to. I like the little description of a linen finder company, because then I knew automatically they weren't selling you the linens. They're going to match you up with someone. You could just try with the form size again. If there's any fields that are not mandatory, just try removing it, making it a little bit smaller, because right now it's taking up the whole page. And so you could try experimenting just with the size of it.
I think that's a good point. So the form size is obviously huge on this page, and it could be that it works well because it gets people right into that form. It could be that it turns a few people off just because they actually want to find out a little bit more about your service, first of all, and exactly what you do. And maybe you want to try and sell some benefits of using you against competitors. So if you're finding the cheapest, or if you have more linen companies you can work with than competitors, I would list those. So maybe make your form just the right side of the page, and on the left have like a checklist of the top 3 reasons to use your site. But other than that, it was pretty. It's pretty simple, but it's pretty good. I might add a little mini description at the top just to super clarify what you're selling. But other than that, not too bad. We'll move on to the next one. So this comes from McEwen Fraser Legal over in Scotland, and this is an estate agent, which for Americans is a realtor, and it's one of their landing pages. So, Rupa, did you have thoughts on this page in particular?
Well, I felt there was a lot of information here, and maybe they could try to condense it a little bit, or you could see there's like a lot of trust there. They won so many awards. Maybe just to do a small bullet point list of what they have. I think also you have, if you can scroll down, you have I think 3 or 4 videos down there, and it's below the form. So it might be worth just adding a second call to action button to the right of the part exchange, your Edinburgh properties, just so people don't have to scroll all the way back up to the form if they want to fill it out. They can just go right to the button and get to your form right there.
A couple of things for me on this page. So clearly they're going for the trust angle and showing all the different places that they're available. I actually think there's room to improve maybe your call to action or just getting people straight into that funnel of selling or buying property. So from the top, there's, apart from the kind of search, there's nothing enticing me to look for a property or to list my property. The form gets a little further down here. Now I might have a couple of buttons here. I might have one that's looking for a property, click here. One that's selling a property, click here. And the one can take you to the property finder page, and the other can take you to either a phone number or the form here. So that might be something you want to do and get it further up the page and just let people kind of click through and not have to search around. So that's something I would do, but that's probably the main thing I would work on. And moving on. So we thought this would be kind of fun. We got a Spanish language submitted landing page, and neither Rup or I speak Spanish. So we were just trying to look at it from the complete blind perspective of, is it obvious what to do? And I actually really like this landing page, which is why we stuck with it. And it's kind of new, and I don't know if it works better or not, but it was pretty cool. So we kind of wanted to show you guys. And it's a debt resolving company. So the first thing you do is you essentially just have this big image with one question that really draw your eyes in, and it just says, how much debt do you have? So you can fill that question in, and then you get your second question, and you can kind of move forward. And once you've answered the specifics, you get through to the form, and it says that you're ready to talk to us. So it's kind of cool getting people clicking, because there's a proven phenomenon, I guess, that if people click on your site, they're more likely to keep clicking on it. They've got past that part of the brain that tells you, I don't know if I trust clicking on this site, and the brain's telling them, this is a site I know I can click on. I trust it enough to click on. So it's a really cool way to kind of get people going through that. I don't necessarily know if you need all those 3 options to run through, but I definitely kind of like the approach these guys took. Did you have any thoughts on things that might be improved at all, Rupa? Or?
Yes, well, like you said, I like the whole just asking one question right in the beginning rather than seeing all 3 questions right at the start, because you feel like, oh, this is not too much of a challenge. I can just answer one question. When you get to this page, I think people are engaged, and so they have a little icon of the home there, which will take you back to the home page. So I try to test maybe removing that link. And I kind of liken it to e-commerce. When someone's in the checking out process, you don't want to give them that ability to navigate away. And so I think it might be worth trying that type of strategy over here as well.
I think that makes sense. Our next landing page is from Labradors.com. And this is a very straightforward, simple landing page. It's just a form on the left and an image and a headline. So a couple of things kind of jumped out to me here. I think I would definitely test having a page with more information on than just this very basics. And the main reason is when I'm looking for what to have on a landing page, there are a few factors. So like proof and trust are 2 of them. And I don't really have either of those on this page. I don't really know anything about where about these rescue groups that I'm going to be linked to find a new Labrador. I don't know if you have them in my state. I don't know who this information is getting passed to. I don't know if you're going to contact me. I don't know if you're going to get back to me today, tomorrow, if I'm going to get access to search for dogs. So really, I would just like more information. And really, the only trust symbol here is Labradors.com, and my brain is like, well, if that's kind of a good URL or a good domain, so it's probably okay. But other than that, it's just a very bland page. Rupa, did you have any thoughts?
Yeah, along that lines, I think I would add like a customer testimonial there to give some validity there. Also, just the form, you could probably just play around with the start your search, because when I looked at it, I thought it was a button in and of itself. And you can just play around with the call to action button, just trying different colors as well to make it pop out a little bit more.
Yeah, I think that's probably right. I mean, like you said with the testimonials, is probably going to be the most powerful thing, is just seeing other people who've adopted puppies through, or adopted rescue dogs, sorry, through this site. So that's something you'll want to add, I think. And then, like you said, cleaning up the form. I think the colors kind of could do with some changing around, just to be a little cleaner and less pink for both sets of colors. So that's something I'd maybe look at. Then we have a herbal diabetic supplement from Gluco Nature. So this site's maybe a little out of date right now, I think. So maybe a potential for a full redesign. So we're always trying to offer some constructive feedback too. There were probably 2 or 3 things I would want to fix on this page. So one is this background. I don't really like at all. It just looks kind of spammy with having the same thing repeated over and over. So I might go for a more neutral background. And then the second major thing I looked at was when the header switches over from one to the other on the scroll here. If you're on the first one, there's actually no real call to action on the page. So if I was convinced to try this supplement, 50% of the time I'm not seeing any way to do that. So I would maybe make sure to have an order online now option available at all times for someone to see. So maybe just at the top of the page and then once again down the bottom. Rupert, did you have any thoughts?
If it's possible, I can't even tell if they have it, but to include a customer testimonial saying that this stuff has worked. And also on the left-hand side by the home about Gluco Nature, I think the graphics in the back make it a little bit difficult to read.
Yeah, so maybe just change up some of these buttons so the colors aren't overlapping each other. And then this is from FW Canada, and it's a legal service to try and make sure that you don't get rejected at the border when trying to get into Canada. And one thing I will say is I recognize this landing page straight away as an unbounced landing page. So I've built one with the exact same form, arrow, drop-down kind of options before. So it looks very clean, which is kind of what you get when you work with unbounced. It says exactly what it does, so I like that. The form looks good. And one thing that we kind of noticed, so Rupa pointed this out earlier. Do you want to mention it maybe?
Yes, the call to action is assess my options, and I guess with the gray background, it's actually quite difficult to read that white color of the call to action, so it might be worth just changing the font color, or if, I don't know if you're able to create a button in Unbounce just to make it pop out a little bit more. I think that would be worth it there. Also, I would like to see more trust markers, a customer testimonial as well.
Yes, I think maybe with all legal services, trust and proof are big parts of it. And like you said, I didn't even spot that button, so that's a really good call. I think just that on its own could actually really help your conversion rate because it's kind of hidden down there. So definitely something to look at. And then our final page, so I'm actually going to kind of pull this one back in. So this was a mobile site we got suggested, and I don't know how easy it is for you guys to see this, but this was for debit cards, prepaid cards, and prepaid credit cards, and it's just a mobile landing page, and here's kind of how it looks. So it's a list of different cards you can look at, and the options that come with them, and then the Apply Now button. So did you have any thoughts on this page, Rupa, as a mobile user?
Well, you can click on the Apply Now button, but then there's that blue arrow there that just will give you slightly more information about the prepaid cards. And so then one thing on that, one of the next pages, it gives you information about how secure it is, that it's backed by the Visa, I think, zero liability policy. I think that's an important bullet point to put on your main landing page.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. I mean, these are kind of trickier ones to review because obviously on a phone you're trying to just give the information that you need. So I think having this fee information up there is important. I definitely think having a couple of other, like maybe changing the layout a little bit to try and highlight the particular offers of each card, because really when I look at them, all I'm seeing is like a lot of expenses. So maybe, and then the 3 stars as well kind of puts me off. So I know in my mind, and this sounds kind of stupid, but 4 stars means okay, 4.5 stars means good, and 5 stars means great. And then anything under 4 stars tends to mean not good, which is, I don't know if it's something weird about the star rating system, but if you're trying to push one over the others, then maybe show it. But if these are just ratings you're getting from somewhere, you might not want to show a 3-star rating for a card, because that might be a turnoff to some people. It probably would be to me if I think, all right, well, I better go look for whatever the 4 or 5-star cards are. And that kind of takes us to the end of our live landing page review. We kind of run out of time. We're hoping to get to a couple of questions or submitted landing pages as we're going along, but we're nearly at our hour here, so I think we'll stick to you guys who submitted the landing pages beforehand. And thanks to everyone for joining us today. And our kind of final live poll is just for any of you out there who might need any PPC management services. Obviously here at Hennepin, we're a PPC company. We also offer CRO services. So if you're interested in anything, just answer our live poll. We have a free solutions blueprint. So that means we'll look at your account and provide some analysis and consultation if you're spending more than $20,000 a month on PPC. And that's totally free and no obligation. If you did get it, it's kind of like a mini audit that highlights some cool ideas for you guys. If you're interested in maybe talking to us about PPC management, let us know. Or just a standalone audit, we can also handle that. And then we have retainer agreements too. So if you wanted us for a few hours a month to help you work on your PPC. And then if you're just here to enjoy the webinar today, then obviously you don't have to listen to my sales pitch for too much longer. So, but hopefully we'll get to speak to some of you guys soon. And then we'll skip through our live Q&A because we kind of unfortunately ran out of time. But other than that, if you guys have any other questions, we really appreciate you attending the webinar. But either get in touch with that link from that link there to get our solutions blueprint, or contact us directly at marketing@hennepinmarketing.com, or you can tweet us at thinkppc, as hopefully you guys have been doing throughout the webinar here. And that wraps up our live landing page review, and we should have it available for you guys on PPC Hero to watch today, so later today if you want to. So if you really are a glutton for punishment and want to watch it twice, look forward to seeing you on PPC Hero. Okay, thanks everyone.
Thank you.